Yossi. Okay, we're on the Rebbe's Maimer Chelik Vav, the first Maimer, Ahoya Bayam, when you talk about Shefer Gadol. We're on page Ches, 8 Zion, paragraph Zion. Okay, the last thing the Rebbe is explaining, there's two aspects of Rosh Hashanah. There's one aspect of Rosh Hashanah that it's the first day of creation, really, and from the other side, it's a remembrance of the first day. Why? Because Rosh Hashanah is the advantage of the Aveda Sa'adam, of the Aveda of the person, and also it has the connection to having a relationship of revelation, of godliness, which is above world, which Aveda cannot reach. So he says now in Chesed, in Zion like this, based on what he brought before, in the Maimer from the Rebbe Marash, Shamei to the Shofar, that this narrowness of a Shofar, we learned, Min HaMeitzer Karasi Yudkei, you have to blow the Shofar from the narrow side. And the Rebbe Marash explains, what does it mean, the narrow side? That's the concept of Shana Sherosha B'Tchilasa, that the idea originates poor. What does that mean? And the Rebbe Marash explains, In Rosh B'Tchilasa, Huzeh Sheyisrael Eis in Atman Roshim B'Rosh Hashanah. They make themselves poor. It doesn't mean, God forbid, physically poor. It means they make themselves the level of bittul. What does bittul mean? You have nothing. No, nothing. You're only the existence of Hashem. So what's the shana shirasha b'tchilasa? Through the level of bittul that a Jew has in Rosh Hashanah comes the broad revelation of godliness from the wider side of the Shofar, Misasheres b'Sefer. And he explains. He says, the narrowness, the bittul, that causes the broadness, is also when it comes from bittul. And the Rebbe is going to explain like this. It's not that bittul over here means he doesn't do anything right. And therefore I'm batul because I don't do it right. Bittul means I know I'm doing it right. It is 100% correct. And I still have the level of bittul. He's doing everything 100%. How could he have the level of bittul? He's perfect. So he says like this. His Aveda is really complete. Because of his bittul, he feels that he's found in oppression. He's found in a narrow place. He says, even through this affliction, comes the level of the broadness. Meaning like this. You can have a Jew that does everything 100%. But compared to the level of Hashem, whatever we do to perfection, it's only human perfection. It's human perfection. And therefore, compared to the perfection of Hashem, the person feels like nothing. That bittul also causes, especially that bittul, causes the level of merchav of this great revelation of Hashem. And he says, so it is. As far as the big shofar that he said before, the Rebbe explained before like this. The big shofar that awakens that even the Evdim and Nidachim, even the lost Jews, even that loses causes the lost people to come back. Yeah, he says the fact that they're lost is what awakens that shofar gadol to happen. That's what the Rebbe explained before. So he says even that level of Evdim and Nidachim, gam kshaveidasi b'shleimus. His Aveda is perfect. Elishim is bainim, but he meditates and he realizes compared to the level of Hashem, gamo Aveda amitis, even a true Aveda, lechet yichoshiv is considered like a sin. Why over here the word chet doesn't only mean sin; he's not sinning. Chet, Chassidus explains, also means the word lacking. As perfect as a person could be, he's still lacking compared to the greatness of Hashem. Lochein, hu margish, therefore he feels himself la'ed v'nidach, as a lost person. Not God forbid to cause depression. He's doing everything 100% correctly. But he has no pride in it because he realizes compared to what I should be doing, I'm like a lost Jew, it's nothing. Shaydei, that through that level of bittul, nis'erev v'nim shechagili the shefer gadol, becomes awakened and drawn down the level of shefer gadol, the attack wakes everybody up. Yishleima shegam al shamshach as gili the shefer. When the amshach of the big shefer comes to his bittul, then you could say yitaka. Yitaka means it blows by itself. Yeah? He says like this, even the perfect avodah that has bittul, so it's not, he doesn't feel his avodah is causing it to happen because as far as he's concerned, no matter what he does is nothing. So therefore that itself causes the yitaka b'shefer gadol that is blowing by itself because his avodah is not doing it. Why? When a person makes himself poor, spiritually poor. The inyan of ani, what is the level of ani? She'ein le mishal atzmei klum. Definition of a poor man is he has nothing of his own. He only has what he's given. Shenesa meret tzedakah. It says it's interesting. David HaMelech epitomized Malchus. Yeah, personified, epitomized everything. David HaMelech says, "Ki ani v'avyanani." I'm a poor man. Now, obviously, David HaMelech, number one, was very wealthy. And David HaMelech was the ultimate level of bittus. What do you mean, Ki ani v'avyanani? David HaMelech, in the essence of Sfiras HaMalchus, like we learned, the Zohar says, Lesla migamo klum. It has nothing of its own. Malchus only has what it's given from the higher levels. Therefore, we learned David HaMelech was supposed to be born as stillborn. David HaMelech was bar nafli. He was supposed to be born dead. Because Malchus has nothing of its own. It only has chesed of Malchus comes to Malchus of chesed. Gvura of Malchus comes to Malchus of Gvura. So it only has what it has from above. So therefore, when he realizes that he has nothing, the level of Malchus, who makir magish, then he feels the zeh shal vaydose nim shechagili. This, that's through his avoid. He gets this revelation. He realizes it's not me. It's because I'm nothing. It's all a gift from above. I mean, this is a very lofty level of bittul, by the way. It's not the bittul, and it's also not the idiotic level of bittul. I'm a nobody. I'm a boy. That's an idiot. He knows exactly who he is, but compared to what he should be, in it, the Rebbe is not even speaking about that level of bittul. When it said Moshe on the maid, yeah, Moshe was most humble. Moshe Rabbeinu knew exactly who he was. But Moshe Rabbeinu thought, if somebody else would be in my shoes, that would even be greater. Which means Moshe Rabbeinu's bittul was, as great as I am, I'm nowhere near what I should be. The Rebbe is speaking here a different level of bittul. The guy is taka perfect. He's taka not based on what I should be. He's perfect. Shleimus, avodah b'shleimus. But he realizes and feels, not only feels, that compared to what Elukus should get, then I'm nothing. And that level of bittul causes the revelation of, because then he feels like Ovid and Nidach, then he feels like he's a lost person compared to the greatness of Hashem. So that awakens the Shefer Gadol that comes not through his Avodah, but from his level of bittul. So the Rebbe is explaining here, by the way, the Shefer Gadol that awakens Avdim and Nidachim is not only simply the meaning of it, lost Jews that are far away from Yiddishkeit. He says a Jew could be on the highest level and he's still called Avid Nidach compared to the level of Elukus, he's really nothing. The person then realizes this, that I feel that my Avodah does the Gilui is loy mitzad ili shaloi, is not because he has the ability to do it, El mitzad chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu, only because of the chesed of Hashem. So then the Rebbe writes in 53, interesting point. So then why do you need Avodah for? If anyway it doesn't do anything, it's all coming from Hashem. So the Rebbe said, because he doesn't want what's called Namad D'Chsufa. He doesn't want shamed bread. It has to come through Avodah. But the person realizes Avodah is really nothing. He has to make a keli. He has to make the vessel for it. But he realizes my vessel is not doing it. As if it's coming without any awakening from below. And to add, the Rebbe writes in the Maimer, Shashefer Gadol, this great level of Shefer, awakens the Pintal Yid, the essence of the Jew, the Yechidah Shebenefesh, Shebachol Echem Yisrael, moving is understood. There should call Yisrael. This, that every Jew, including the Evdam and Nidachim, Yirtzel Latzis Mea Golos, want to leave Golos and go to the level of Yerushalayim. Not physically necessarily, but Yirah Shalom, a complete level of fear. Ushtach Levesef and La Hashem to Baal Hashem is Aidei Gili the Shefer Gadol, that because what happens like this, through the Shefer Gadol, Yis'eder Arotzino Amiti the Yisrael is going to awaken the real level of the Jew. What does the Jew really want? Like the Rambam says, every Jew wants to do good. The Yetzer Hara is forcing him to go against his nature, right? So therefore, the Shefer Gadol awakens the essence of every single Jew. That what is the will of every single Jew? To bow to Hashem and have bittul to Hashem. And he said, that's the difference between the goal of Yetzias Mitzrayim and Mashiach's goal. Why? The desire of the Jew was lost. This, that the Yidden wanted to go out of Mitzrayim. And to cling to Hashem, was because of Hashem awaken us. Like it said, by Chatzos Laila, right? Hashem revealed himself, Atzman, V'avayti B'eretz Mitzrayim, as Rebbe Rashab writes, Rebbe brings down that God, the Atzmus Mohus Mamash, the essence of Hashem, revealed itself, so therefore the Jews wanted to go out. But he says, Ugulo Asida, when Mashiach comes, Haratzin Latzis Mea Golus, the real will to go out of Golus, and to come to Yerushalayim will be the will of the Jew. It's not coming from Hashem. In other words, like this. By Pesach, it was a revelation of above that woke up the Jews, awakened the Jews to want to go out of Egypt. But it came from above. It was a gift from above. Therefore, like we learned, those Jews that didn't want to go out died in the plague of darkness, and they were buried in Egypt. 4/5 of the Jewish people didn't want to go out. When Mashiach comes, the Pasuk Atam to look to Echad Beis Yisrael, Mashiach is going to take everybody by the hand. Hashem is going to take everybody by the hand and take them out of Golus, whether they like it or not. The Rebbe explained, because the real will of every Jew, they don't want to be in Golus. Not because Hashem is awakening them from above. The essence of every Jew doesn't want to be in Golus, which is a much greater level. When it comes from us, it's a much greater level than it's coming as a gift from Hashem. And the Gilu, the Lamaila, and the Shefer Gadol, the Rebbe explains, is only a Siba, only a cause that reveals the will of the Jew. In other words, the will of the Jew is there whether the Shefer Gadol or not. Whether the Shefer Gadol blows or not. The will of the Jew, like the quotes from the Rambam, every Jew wants to do what's right. Sometimes you need to awaken that level of Evdam and Nidachim. So that the Shefer Gadol awakens. But it's not that the Shefer Gadol is doing it. The Shefer Gadol is awakening what the real will of the Jew is, unlike by Pesach. Therefore, their Avodah Tia Mitzad Atzvam should be on their own, the mile of Rosh Hashanah Avodah Sa'adam. So he says, Elabat. Sheba'evdim v'nidachim kepshutam. In the simple Evdim Nidach, meaning literally the people far from Yiddishkeit. Hamayla Davedah Sa'odam. The greatness of the person comes after the Gilu Shefer Gadol. Shaydeiza Misayra Tzeni Amiti Da'adam. Then, when does the Jew wake up? After the Shefer Gadol blows. Aval Amshachas Agilu the Shefer Gadol. In Mitzay Momayla, there comes from above. Right? From me talk a Shefer Gadol. Shagam Amshachas Agilu the Shefer Gadol. The Rebbe says, another definition over here is, another meaning is, that the Shefer Gadol, even though it's blown by itself, Yitaka, comes from the real level of Bittul, and therefore it's not Aveda causing the Shefer Gadol to be blown. On the contrary, it's the level of Bittul that's causing the Shefer Gadol, and therefore it could be called Yitaka. Because his Aveda is not doing it. On the contrary, he realizes that his serving Hashem is nothing compared to what it should be. So therefore, when the Shefer Gadol blows, it's not something he did. It's something he's not doing. He feels that he's not doing anything.
But didn't it say that the Gilu, the Shofar Gadol, are Yedei Avoda? Through Avoda?
Yeah, what's the Avoda though? He said in Zion, it means the level of Bittul. Rasha B'tchilasa. The Ramash explains the level of Bittul. That as great as he's doing, he realizes he's nothing. So it's the Bittul that's causing it, not the Avoda that's causing it. Okay, Ches. You talk about Shefer Gadol. He said the lesson of this is you talk about Shefer Gadol. And that there will be the Shefer Gadol. You talk about Miatzmei. Meaning, Shebe saves the man of Golos. The Rebbe is going to say an interesting thing about the 6-day war, post-6-day war. She saves man of Golos. Shenir Shurakam Regoyim. It's only a few seconds left before you talk about Shefer Gadol. And the Rebbe says like this, you say to me, it's interesting. Shebenegele Kamen Yonim, in many respects, the Shefer Gadol began to blow already. And especially from the time of Ksivas to Maimer, of writing that Maimer until now. Like the Rebbe said, we only have to polish the buttons. And the Rebbe said that's also done already. But here the Rebbe says an interesting thing. This is right after the 6-day war, remember. This is the Rosh Hashanah. The Rebbe said this Maimer, the Rosh Hashanah, right after the 6-day war. So the Rebbe says, especially we see in the last time, and lately, Sharol b'muchash, shakama v'kama, that many Jews, that were in a level of lost Jews, his Eirah b'tshuva, awakened in the tshuva through the Shefer Gadol. And the Rebbe, the 61 says that this was said after the 6-day war. That means, basically what the Rebbe is saying, that a little bit of the Shefer Gadol was the miracles of the 6-day war. There came this revelation, because a lot of Jews, as we know, after the 6-day war, got much more turned on to Yiddishkeit.
5751?
No.
5728.
The 6-day war happened 5727. And this Maimer is Rosh Hashanah, Tavshin Chav Ches.
Why did it say Nun Beis on top of it?
No, that's the year that Rebbe gave out the Maimer edited for Rosh Hashanah, Tavshin Nun Beis. Tzrich Aliyah Savod B'Bittul David has to be with Bittul, meaning Hakar V'Hed. What does it mean Bittul? Again, not that I'm nothing, but the recognition and the feeling. Shakol Inyanim Sheniflu Aydei Avedase. Whatever a person accomplishes through Aveda. Whether it's for himself or as far what he does with somebody else, it's not because of him that he is something. It's not him. He doesn't pride himself with what he accomplishes with himself or with others, because it's not him. It's only coming from above. And he says, okay, it's not me, so I'll slacken off because it's not me anyway. He says, no, Adrabah. They had gives them through this feeling. Avedah is even stronger. Why? Kshavei the shalek shura mitzvah, you'll say, because when it's him doing it, his greatness, avei the medida v'agbol, it's limited. No matter how great you are, you're limited. Gam kshavei the shalei b'eifin l'chol me'edecha, even when you do the avei the b'chol me'edecha, which is believable, he said, but it's still me'edecha, it's your believable. It's still limited. It's still your made. By day, ha'hergish. Shenyonim shenasim eidei avidos. But when a person feels that he accomplishes things through Aveda is not mitzad ha'koiches sheyeshlei, because of his personal strength. Ela mitzad elokus. It's only coming from elokus, meaning it's not me. It's elokus giving me the strength. Aidei zeh hu yetz mi ha'metzias v'agbolos shaloi. He gets out of his own limitations, and now he becomes really l'mayl mendida v'agbolos. So the Rebbe is explaining that the avoid of the Jew basically awakens the Shefer Gadol is a level of bittul. What's the level of bittul? A person realizes that anything that I do is not what the pasuk says, Keichi v'eitzim yodi, asili yasachayel azeh, my strength, my might, my brains, or whatever it is. It's all coming straight from Hashem. So not only does it cause a weakness, it's strengthened, because then you realize if I'm not going with my own powers, I could do things that I normally can't do, because I'm not going with my own strength. That taka becomes l'mayla medida v'agbol. It taka becomes higher than not your ma'id cha, but the ma'id of the real believable. B'nei v'or b'meimet. Oh, you be able to talk to Shefer God and the Kutatero, being your Shefer the Rosh Hashanah. He speaks over there. We learned the Maimer about the Shefer Rosh Hashanah, Hagam She'ik and Amshach. Even though the primary revelation that Shefer accomplishes is Aidei Atzaik or the Pnimis Halev, because the Shefer is the cry of the heart. Mikama came tzarich liyasat kiyah b'Shefer Gashmi Dafka. So why do you need a physical Shefer? Everybody should blow their own. Cry out their heart without a shefer. What do you need a physical shefer? He says, Kasila Ela, because action is what really matters. V'gam kadei shagili the pnimis harotzen. Also, that this pnimis harotzen that the Jew does, the shefer of above, should come into Gashmis. The whole avodah of creation was did b'tachtainim. So it has to, therefore we know, you can have a pair of tefillin on the table, you could think all the Kabbalistic meanings of it, halachic meanings, whatever it is. You don't put them on, you're worthless. Not worthless, I mean, you did some good thoughts, but you didn't do the mitzvah. You put on the mitzvah, you don't think anything. You just, okay, I'm doing a mitzvah, you did the mitzvah. Why? Because the ultimate level is dafka gashmias. So even though shefer really is the cry of the heart, without the Rebbe explains not that, but it has to come down into a physical shefer. From here we can understand the just like the physical shefer Rosh Hashanah, it's not enough to do it spiritually, you need to do it physically. The same thing with the shefer Gadol, it's not enough what happened until now, like you said, even the 6-day war, whatever it may be. It has to be in a physical way that every single Jew, even in including the lost Jews, the pushed away Jews, will come physically and bow to Hashem in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim kipshuta, simply Yerushalayim. Amen.